Korean Conversation, 한국어 대화, Lesson 6, 제6과. Let's start this lesson off with the phrase 어서 오세요. 어서 오세요, which means please come in. The next phrase is 몇 분이세요? 몇 분이세요, and means how many people. 어서 오세요 is another way of expressing a welcoming attitude toward the customer. 몇 분이세요 is another way of asking how many people there are, so that the waiter or waitress knows how many people to see. Let's look at the next phrase. This phrase says 세 명이에요. 세 명이에요. 3 people. And the next phrase is 이쪽으로 오세요. 이쪽으로 오세요, which means come this way. When responding to how many people there are, use Sino-Korean numbers. For more on Sino-Korean numbers, go to Lesson 22 of the Korean Grammar series. Let's move on to a different phrase. This phrase is 메뉴 여기 있습니다. 메뉴 여기 있습니다, and means here's your menu. This next phrase is 담당자가 올 때까지 잠시만 기다려주세요. 담당자가 올 때까지 잠시만 기다려주세요, which means please wait momentarily until your waiter arrives. In the phrase 담당자가 올 때까지 잠시만 기다려주세요, the 담당자 literally means the person in charge, which is another way of saying the person that will be in charge of you, or the person who will be taking care of you. In most cases, the 담당자 will be the waiter or waitress. Let's move on to the next phrase. This phrase says 여기요, 여기요, and means over here. This next phrase is 메뉴 좀 봅시다. 메뉴 좀 봅시다, and means let me take a look at the menu. The next phrase is 냅킨 좀 더 주세요. 냅킨 좀 더 주세요, and means please give me more napkins. This next phrase is 이거 뭐예요? 이거 뭐예요, and means what is this? To get the waiter or waitress's attention, you can raise your arm slightly and say 여기요. If you don't know what something is, you can just point to the item on the menu and ask 이거 뭐예요? Most likely the waiter or waitress will describe what the dish is. Let's look at another phrase. This phrase says 지금 주문하시겠습니까? 지금 주문하시겠습니까? Which means, would you like to order now? This next phrase is 뭐 드시겠습니까? 뭐 드시겠습니까? It means, what would you like to eat? The following phrase is 고기가 들어가지 않는 요리가 있습니까? 고기가 들어가지 않는 요리가 있습니까? Which means, do you have any dishes that don't contain meat? You can replace any food item for 고기 in the phrase 고기가 들어가지 않는 요리가 있습니까? For example, you can say 새우가 들어가지 않는 요리가 있습니까? 새우 means shrimp, so basically you're asking, do you have any dishes that don't contain shrimp? Let's look at the next phrase, which is 오늘 특별 요리는 뭐예요? 오늘 특별 요리는 뭐예요? Which means, what is today's special? The following phrase is 우리에게 추천할 만한 요리 있나요? 우리에게 추천할 만한 요리 있나요? Which means, is there any dish you would recommend? This next phrase is 이 집에서 가장 잘하는 요리가 뭐죠? 이 집에서 가장 잘하는 요리가 뭐죠? Which means, what is the best dish on your menu? The phrase 이 집에서 가장 잘하는 요리가 뭐죠? Literally means, what is the dish that this house can prepare the best? In other words, this question is used to ask what dish the restaurant is known for, or the dish that the chef prepares especially well. Let's move on with the phrase 오늘 특별 요리는 탕수육입니다. 오늘 특별 요리는 탕수육입니다. Which means today's special is the sweet and sour pork. The following phrase is 그럼 탕수육 주세요. 그럼 탕수육 주세요, which means then I'll have the sweet and sour pork dish. This next phrase is 저도 탕수육. 저도 탕수육, which means sweet and sour pork for me as well. The next phrase is 그럼 이거 줘요. 그럼 이거 줘요, which means then give me this. If you don't know how to pronounce the item of the food in Korean, but you know how it is spelled, you can point to it on the menu and use the phrase 그럼 이거 줘요. If you want the same item as the person next to you, you can just say 저도, which means me too. Let's move on to the next phrase. This phrase is 전부 얼마예요? 전부 얼마예요? It means how much is it altogether? Generally speaking, when it comes to the point where the customer has to pay the bill, the customer goes to the front desk and pays the bill, rather than receiving the check from the waiter or waitress. That's all the time we have for today. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.